those of you who have been privileged to join us on this first episode of Talking Business with Tonito Samuel. It's going to be an exciting segment, I don't believe so, and I promise to keep it as simple as possible. The entire idea of this is to help us understand the landscape of the average African business and where we are at in terms of global perspective, and how we begin to understand the road map and the role we all have to play as entrepreneurs in shaping or reshaping the global perspective of African business landscape. So welcome to Talking Business with Tonito Samuel. Today, I've decided to talk on what is very key to my heart, which is, of course, as an entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur all my life, and being privileged to assist all the entrepreneurs in taking up their vision or their ideas and bringing them into fruition. It is one of the exciting part of my life. And in doing that, it's also important that after meeting quite a number of young people who say they want to become entrepreneurs or they are entrepreneurs, what I've observed lately is that it's not so many understand what really or the role we play as entrepreneurs. Quite a number of us tend to think that being an entrepreneur is just about starting up a venture that makes money, all right? In as much as that is not in itself a bad idea, because the end point of a business is to find products or services with the target market that can exchange for right values. But in as that is, it is very important that we understand that for us to shape and bring about a positive change in the economy of Africa, for us to create a lasting and sustainable impact for Africa and its business environment, entrepreneurs have got to have the right mindset and possibly take, if not a U-turn, but a detour in understanding that there is a role, a responsibility for us in what we call socio-economic development. Now, I'm not here to bore you with most of this talk. My game here today is to bring us into a space where we understand the role that we play as entrepreneurs in Africa today. So we will be discussing, as we begin with our first slide, that says visionary versus opportunist entrepreneurship. Now, when I talk about visionary versus entrepreneur versus the what's it called, the opportunist entrepreneurship, what do I really mean by that? What we'll mean by this is today this teaching is going to give us the opportunity to unpack who a visionary entrepreneur is and who an opportunist businessman who calls themselves an entrepreneur is. And of course, what is opportunistic entrepreneurship? Now, in summary, it is important for you to know that we all must have there must be a confluence of each of these components or characteristics for you to build a successful business anyway. So let's get started to what the purpose of this class is. So the purpose of this class today is, number one, is that we want to reconstruct, our first purpose today is to reconstruct a new entrepreneurial mindset for the African business landscape. It is important when we think entrepreneurship. A lot of us have moved from subsistence, finding the means of survival that became a business. So in our way to push a hustle, it became a business. Now, but we've got to find a way to transition from subsistence business model into building a sustainable enterprise, all right? So that's one thing. We want to find a way to reconstruct that mindset. Secondly, we also want to assist entrepreneurs in providing a framework. Now, a framework of understanding how to start and sustain a successful business, all right? How to start and sustain a business for a long time. Now, if you are an entrepreneur, it is key that you must understand that you are in it for the long run. It's never going to be that you come in because it's not cash in, cash out, all right? Yes, although there are some businesses that are about cash in, cash out. But the type of entrepreneurship that will make a lasting or create a lasting impact in the African business landscape must be the type of entrepreneurs who are ready to go into entrepreneurial, go into building ventures on a long-term basis. All right. So now let's quickly look at this. Who is an entrepreneur? So in my 4-point definition, an entrepreneur is first a pioneer or a starter. Right? So if you're an inventor, you create something, you start something that brings about a change. So a pioneer is a starter. I mean, an entrepreneur is a starter or is what I call a pioneer. Again, an entrepreneur is a driver. So it's one thing to start something, but it's another thing for you to keep at what you started. You keep driving it because sometimes what you start, when you start a business venture today, it does not guarantee an automatic success overnight. It does not automatically bloom and people scream, wow, you become a multi-millionaire because you started something yesterday. Sometimes you are in it for a long run. Sometimes 10 years down the line, you actually not scratch the surface of what you're trying to impact for the world to see. Sometimes I say. Now, again, an entrepreneur is also someone who's accountable and responsible. Why do I use the word responsible? As entrepreneurs, we owe the society, we owe our community, we owe our nations and this continent a responsibility of creating wealth that is distributed according to various value chain, right? We also owe our society the opportunity to create businesses that create a sustainable life or living standard for those who we will employ. So when you create a business, it is in a right mindset of an entrepreneur to be futuristic to say, when we begin to expand, we're going to employ people, and this is how the people we employ, how they want it to look like, right? And finally, an entrepreneur is someone who is seeking to do good more than just making money. Right? It's someone who is seeking to do good more than just making money. Okay, so now, if what I've defined looks like who you are or what you do, then consider yourself an entrepreneur, right? So, but before we dive into all of that, let's now ask this big question. Who are you? What type of an entrepreneur are you? In my own little understanding, there are 4 classes of entrepreneurs. Number one, there is a class that we call the business entrepreneur, those we call the social entrepreneur, those we call lifestyle entrepreneur, and there are those we call serial entrepreneur. Okay, so let's begin unpacking what a business or who a business entrepreneur is. The business entrepreneur are people who come up with ideas or inventions that are fit for a particular industry or sector, or that brings about a change that changes the trend of style or life that people live. So everything we use, the likes of, what's it called? The likes of Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, and other entrepreneurs that you find in and around your country or around you are entrepreneurs. Why? Because they've come up with business with ventures that are solely driven to bring about change or innovation in a particular sector, or that cross across all sectors, depending on the tool, especially for those of them leveraging on technology, right? Now, these are business entrepreneurs, so they create products and services that are in exchange for value, they make profit out of it, okay? 1, 2, social entrepreneur are people who are just concerned about creating a social change, community change, the fight for social justice. A lot of them now fight for climate change and all of it. So there are those who want to do good, primarily with no profit at the back of their mind, okay? And of course, we have those who call lifestyle entrepreneur. Who is a lifestyle entrepreneur? I want to believe that majority of people who have built good businesses today started as lifestyle entrepreneurs. Why? Because we turn passion to profits. So I like to do some certain things, and now I make a business out of it, okay? I like to cook, and then I make a business out of it. I have passion for cooking, I have passion for styling, now I make a business out of it. I have passion for things. So people who are able to turn passion to profits those we consider as lifestyle entrepreneur. Now, the serial entrepreneurs on my class of 4 types of entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs who are good at starting one business venture after the other, and they are successfully doing them well. So they've been able to start 1, 2, 3, 4 companies, and each of those businesses are doing pretty well for themselves. Okay, so you got to find your category. Okay, so the big question now is, where do I fall in? Now, understand that for you to be an entrepreneur, the word of vision and opportunity and being an opportunist can never go out of your vocabulary. Why? Because we are constantly seeking for opportunity to bring about change that at the end will further bring profit to the business, the organization. But the differentiator is anchored on the mindset of what we call shared value. So if you run a business that does not provide shared value, if it's just about, I service them, they pay me, and you're off, then something could be wrong. Why? Because all you're after is just about the money, which is not bad in itself. But the question is, will you still have a business when the circumstances are not favorable to you? So let's check now. Where do I fall in? Where do I fall in? Where do I fall in? So like I did say, there is a class of people called the opportunists or opportunistic entrepreneurs. These are people who are constantly seeking opportunity in any given circumstances. Sometimes majority of it are for good reasons. Or where is the opportunity? What is making money now? What is trending? And they invest in what is trending or what can translate to profits within the shortest possible time. All right, those are opportunistic entrepreneurs. Now, the other class that I will touch on is those that are called the visionary entrepreneurs. But before I touch on the visionary entrepreneurs, let me just touch on the opportunists entrepreneurs. Opportunist entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs who do not necessarily want to do good for, who do not want to do good, but want to make money out of any given circumstances. So those guys take advantage and just make money of it. So when you find a politician in your country who claims to be a businessman, consider them as opportunists entrepreneurs because they're making money all for themselves, taking advantage of the poor, leveraging on the lack of proper systems and control, and taking what doesn't really belong to them. But that's a conversation for another day. Now, because that is really a conversation for another day. We need to sit down and discuss the politics of business in the African perspective. How is politics affecting Africa? That will be a conversation for another day. So let's quickly go to talk about now the visionary entrepreneur. Who is a visionary entrepreneur? Now, just like we define vision to be a picture of a preferred, underline the word preferred future, all right? It is the picture of a preferred future, okay? So the visionary entrepreneur is someone who sees his or her business with a futuristic mindset and tailoring that foresight into actionable steps that produce solutions, products, and services that will end up leading them into what they have envisioned. All right, so they take steps, they take actions. So it's not enough to say, oh, I saw, or I have a vision, or I have an idea. So basically, visionary entrepreneurs translate thoughts to plans using every necessary tools ethically, on the word, ethically using those tools to make sure they produce success and build to what they envisioned in a long time. So let's quickly define what entrepreneurs do. So before you consider yourself an entrepreneur, let's look at what entrepreneurs do. By my definitions, all right, by my definition, beg your pardon, an entrepreneur is a business. It's a business owner who regularly creates new ventures. All right, number one, I need you to keep the word new venture, regularly create. So yes, you can regularly create, and you can regularly and oftentimes seek out for where the opportunity is. They regularly create ventures and sell them. You sell them, right? Because it's not enough to say, oh, I do this pretty well and nobody knows about it. So you've got to find a way to sell. So we create, we sell, all right? And the end goal is simply to turn these ventures and these products or services into profits. Okay, now, so that is one. So a startup also allows them, based on this startup that they create, they get to know that they must create solutions that are tailor-made for the future. Why? Because it's on a future basis. So as an entrepreneur, we build ventures, we build solutions, we build businesses that are tailor-made for the future. So an entrepreneur that creates ventures, we are so focused on ensuring that these ventures will have a lifetime to transit or transcend different market era, different economic era, different generation. Why? Because we have a foresight for a long time or future basis. All right. So that is what we do as entrepreneurs. Okay. Now, again, what we do as entrepreneurs is that we create. Of course, we would always talk about the ability to create a strategic plan for implementing or bringing to reality, bringing to fusion the ideas that we have. Okay. What we also do as entrepreneurs is that we make use of our business, or we use our business as a means to create opportunity, to create sustainable future for us, for ourselves, and also for those who get to work with us. So if you look at the picture, the diagram on the right-hand side, it clearly defines the role of an entrepreneur. Number one, entrepreneurs do what? As an entrepreneur, we create opportunities, we create wealth, and we share. We create wealth, we create models and framework that allows for wealth creation and wealth sharing. We impact community. So either through social entrepreneurship or social model of our business framework, we would find a way to make sure that what we create has a lasting impact on our community. Of course, we either do export and import. It's important we do more of export because that means that we are taking our products and services beyond borders. Okay, and of course, we create jobs. It is our core responsibility to create jobs while we assist the government, while the government creates a enable environment for our businesses to thrive. Successful entrepreneurs go the way to great jobs. Okay, so now let's talk about quickly who the opportunistic entrepreneur is. Now, the opportunistic entrepreneur, which like I did say, from the definition of who a successful entrepreneur is, everybody has an element of vision. Now, a visionary entrepreneur has an element of being hungry for opportunity. You must seek out for opportunity. Why? Because before we even start up a business, the first question we ask you is there a problem out there that the people are seeking answers to? And that's opportunity. So you must be able to identify a problem that people are willing to pay for if solution is provided. And when you run your hypothetical theories, those are the things you look out for, okay? So being an entrepreneur or being an opportunistic entrepreneur, you simply fall into the category of people who take what I call immediate advantage, okay? You take immediate advantage. Oftentimes from where I stand, I want to believe that the opportunistic entrepreneur will oftentimes take ethical advantage, okay, of any circumstances for possible world benefits, okay? That is, and for me, what an ethical opportunistic entrepreneur do. Why? Because you're not only seeking out for your own gain, you're also seeking out for the gain of the community of every party involved. So it's not just about you, okay? Right, it's not just about you, keep that in mind. And if you look at the diagram, we'll say the definition says become opportunistic. To become opportunistic, you need to look at one thing. It's always about, sometimes in life, everything goes smooth, and sometimes it doesn't. So, but what do? You make do of the resources, what you have, and make your lemonade out of lime, all right? Okay, so you've got to find a way of making taking advantage of every circumstances to create possible benefits. Now, this time around, it must not only be for you. Now, within the time frame that you're creating this possible benefit, you've got to be considerate that other parties to have got benefit from it. Now, let's touch on the visionary entrepreneur. What is visionary entrepreneurship? Now, it talks about a type of entrepreneur who anticipates future trends and challenges. So it's not enough to talk about the smooth part of how a business will scale successfully without considering the challenges that may occur. So it's a visionary anticipates future trends and of course challenges that might possibly impact the business and the company. Now, what do we do? The mindset, it's about having an incredible positive impact on our business. It's about having an incredible positive strategy, but with the right mindset to say, yes, we are building for the long run. We are building for the long run. And now, the diagram that defines the element, a component that every visionary leader must have. Number one, you must have cutting-edge vision. You must be a cutting-edge visionary. All right? You must be someone who is also committed to your vision. You must be committed to your vision. You must have cutting-edge visionary. You must be cutting-edge visionary. You must have commitment for the vision. Now, you must be committed to the vision, whether it is translating to what you want it now or not. You've got to stick at it. You've got to stay and keep doing what you know is best for that adventure while you can build it. Remember, you're trying to build a mansion, you're trying to build a pyramid, but you lay this bricks one at a time. Okay? Now, you must also be somebody who is so consumed with innovation. You must be innovative in your thinking, in your approach. You must be somebody who also thinks 10 years ahead. Now, and of course, I've just described one man. His name is Elon Musk. He's proven to us time to now that he is a visionary entrepreneur. All his ventures, none of them have been the type that, oh, it's about getting quick cash out. Get in and quick and cash out. Now, he's always in each of his ventures for a long run, okay? So keep this three in mind. These three key things that I pick as what makes you stand out as an entrepreneur, being visionary, is that you must be a cutting-edge visionary. Number one, you must also have what I call dogged commitment to the vision. That irrespective of what is happening, all right, you've got to stick to it. Okay, that's what it takes. And if you're going to bring partners, they've got to buy into this vision of yours. All right, because if they don't buy into this vision, you're going to find partners who pressure you for profit within the shortest time frame, even without understanding the markets and the landscape of the markets. Okay, so let's touch on what I'm really up against, which is the opportunist entrepreneur. Who is an opportunist entrepreneur? An opportunist, beg your pardon, entrepreneur is a person who constantly seeking opportunities to selfishly utilize them without fair or right behavior. Now, one of the things that has created a kind of dent within the African business landscape is that we find unfair players in the game. We find people who are just in it for the game, people who will go as far as selling you powder for drugs, who will sell you fake drugs, sell you fake products, provide you incompetent, inappropriate or low standard services, all for the game. People who will patch their way just to make money. Now, if that's what you do as an entrepreneur, you're not building a business that's going to last. Why? Because time will catch up with you. And sometimes, someday, those customers of yours are going to find out what you're doing and they're going to walk away from you. Okay, so you cannot build loyalty from your customers by providing low standard services or selling them low standard product or fake products. Okay, so you've got to think about that. Now you've got to be fair in your play. So when you take people's money, provide them the services that you have been paid for on time, and provide them an excellent and an exceptional services that they cannot but agree that you are good at what you do. Okay, so sometimes opportunists consider that, oh, because if I want to give you an excellent service, my prices will be high. So because I don't want them to run away, they sell substandard services for you and they take your money. It is better, or much better, that you charge high, but you provide one of the best services that anyone can ever think of in the marketplace. Okay, consider that. So now let's go and look at what defines the business, really. Now, what brought us to this conversation, or what brought me personally to this conversation, was when I sat back and I started to unpack the digital market, or the digital technology age that we are in, looking at a lot of businesses and technology, and looking at businesses that are transcending and that are getting into even trillions of dollars in their market cap. And it's unfair that we don't find African businesses there, not because we're not allowed to play, but because we as African business owners, we subject ourselves. I took a case study on Amazon. Now, Amazon started, I think, in 1999 or 2000, and for close to 20 years, but well over a decade, Amazon never recorded a single profit. But yet, there were people who believed and kept investing in Amazon. All right, I took a look at Tesla, took a look at Facebook, took a look at these big companies today that are making rounds, that are become the economic giant of our world, of the globe. They decide, I can tell you, they practically are a government on their own, each of those businesses. But come to think of it, what drove them? There was vision. They knew what they were doing, and everybody who were a part of it stood in there for a long run. Now, so you'll find that African billionaires and African big businesses are still coming, up and coming, trailing or following their track. Now, but I believe as African businesses, there's more that we can do. We must get out of wanting to make money. So you find the average African rich or wealthy person, and you cannot really tell what business they do. You can't really pinpoint the business or the product or services that they are selling. All right. Apart from those of us who do work within the consulting space, but you find it difficult to find people who are in a space where they create solutions, where they create services, where they create products, where they understand value chain. So now let's quickly touch on what makes a business, what really makes a business, what defines a business. So if you do something that is a business, something that's going to define it, and if you run a company, what defines a business, number one, is your product and services. So the big question is, you are the same, you're an entrepreneur or you're a businessman. That's the common language we use in Africa. Well, I'm a businessman. What is your product? What is your services? You've got to have a business, you've got to have a product, if you have a business, you've got to have a product, you've got to have services. Secondly, you've got to understand your business environment. Okay? You've got to understand your business environment. You cannot be trailing in a business environment that you don't understand, okay? That you don't have control, or that you cannot by yourself say, okay, because of this trend or this kind of flow, I'm not going to do this. You can have control, okay? Number three is you've got to understand the value chain. Value chain is what defines business. The question is, if you're a business, who are you within this value chain? All right, where are you within this value chain? And finally, you're going to also understand your process. So when you do business, when you do business, you must understand each of these. These are the things that gives you the privilege to define or call yourself a businessman. Why? Because you have a product and service, you have what we call business environment that allows you to connect with the targeted audience, your customers. You understand who you're selling, why you're selling, you know the pain points of all of it. Now, I want us to go to the other type of thing that is common today in Africa that a lot of us do. In itself, is not a bad place to play. Like I say, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have the right to play within each of the space, and that's the type of businesses that opportunist investments or opportunist entrepreneurs play in. So, number one, I would say to you that if you trade just cryptocurrency, if that's all you do, you just do cryptocurrency, all right? You do cryptocurrencies and Ponzi schemes, and you call yourself an entrepreneur, a businessman. I'm sorry to bust you, but I don't think you are one yet. Yes, you make money, but that doesn't make you a businessman. Why? Because you don't have control of the business environments. Yeah, within the value chain, I don't know where you play in. Now, if Elon Musk wakes up tomorrow and just does like this, and just say somebody asks him a question, so what do you think the future of cryptocurrency is? And he does like this, like a sign of uncertainty, that is already going to affect the crypto market. The cryptocurrency market can begin to fluctuate just by one man's demise. All right. So secondly, you take the opportunity again of if you're just in forex trading, if that's all you do, it's not bad. Of course, you are investing time, you're investing your resources, and you're trading currencies, you're within the money market space. It's not bad. But again, you don't control the market. Why? Because whatever Putin decides to do in the next 24 hours can affect the entire business. Whatever anyone tries to do can affect you. Finally, if you also do tender, if all you do is just tender seeking and tender chasing, yes, you are making money, but you cannot consider yourself necessarily an entrepreneur. Now, that is Tonito's idea of who an entrepreneur is, like I would say. So if all your entrepreneurial model is built on this type of businesses that you just do cryptocurrencies and trade forex and just do tenders, you're not yet an entrepreneur. You make money, not bad. Remember, the idea of being an entrepreneur is that you are able to create a more sustainable, viable growth environment for your business and all the people that would come and participate in your business to grow. Finally, I want us to touch on this. Now, the hope of any African economy, of any economic change in Africa lies in the hands of entrepreneurs who are visionary and strategic enough to both create and take opportunities. Okay? In any way, the only way we will make impact as visionary entrepreneur. In a nutshell, all I'm trying to say to us is it's important to know that while we step out there, for those of you who are just visionary and you have ideas, you can envision the future, but you've got to step out and take opportunities, okay? You've got to step out and seek out opportunities and find out how what you envision can create bigger opportunities that make every other person and you and your business benefits. All right. Thank you for joining me on this first episode of Talking Business with Tonito. I look forward to another time that I'm going to be on your screen and share time with you for us to further deliberate on this spectrum or on this conversation on Talking Business with Tonito. Thank you and have a lovely week ahead.